Hello again, everyone. We're back with another Heroes of the Storm video. This time with Chromie, who, if you've been listening to the podcast, we kind of talked about, I think on episode 9. She is one of the Warcraft heroes, a member of the Bronze Dragonflight that takes the form of a gnome. So, for those of you that don't know, gnomes are kind of my favorite. So, despite they're being universally hated by the Warcraft community. So, I'm super excited. I have taken Chromie out, played a couple versus AI matches. I'm having a blast. So, I figured I'd just, take her out for another match, kind of show the lot of you viewers out there kind of what she can do. So, we're going to crank up the difficulty a little bit. Let's see. Okay. And then, so, Chromie's abilities, her passive trait is, as a member of the Bronze Dragonflight, she can travel through time. So, she gets all of her talents, except her level 1 talent, one level earlier than everybody else. Fantastic. So, you kind of get a bigger boost in power before everybody else in the match. Her E ability is a time trap. You throw down a little hourglass. After 2 seconds, it stealths, so nobody can see it on the enemy team. The first enemy hero to touch it gets put in stasis for 2 seconds. Costs 50 mana, cooldown 18 seconds. So the stasis functions like Void Prison. So it just makes them immune, invulnerable, but they can't do anything during that time. So you can use that to kind of set up your other abilities or kind of get a wombo combo started up. Her W ability is Dragon's Breath. So fires a sort of draconic-shaped blast of sand into the air that lands after 1.5 seconds, deals heavy damage to enemies in the area. Unlike other AoE effects, there is no sort of targeting reticule that shows where the blast is going to land. So nobody knows where it's going to hit except for you. It's fantastic. It has a really, really satisfying sound effect when it hits. It's just a really heavy sounding. Great for lane clearing. And her Q ability is Sandblast. So after 1 second, you fire a missile of sand shaped in the form of a dragon's head that deals some pretty significant damage to the first enemy hero hit. So it will ignore minions, it will ignore monsters, and it'll just kind of fire in a straight line and hit the first enemy hero. So this means that you can't use it to siege, you can't use it for bosses or objectives. However, it's great for kind of setting up a combo to take out enemy heroes. Her heroic abilities, Slowing Sands. You place down this giant vortex that it creates almost like a sand whirlpool, and it lasts for a pretty long time. And the longer it's active, the more it slows enemies that get trapped inside it. So up to 50% after 5 seconds. Her other heroic ability is Temporal Loop. So for those of you that have played Tracer, you kind of have her rewind ability. This rewinds an enemy hero, except it doesn't do all the cool stuff that Tracer gets. So it doesn't remove CCs and everything. It just teleports them back to the location where you cast Temporal Loop on them. So pretty cool. I've been playing around with kind of a Dragon's Breath build. It's great. So go over some of the talents that kind of go along with that. So at level 1, you get a couple questing talents, and then Peer into the Future, which, if you need vision, you can do that. But really, you want to go with one of the questing ones. So you have a questing talent for Sandblast, a questing talent for Dragon's Breath, and a questing talent for Time Walker's Pursuit, which is kind of Chromie's version of Conjurer's Pursuit. Very standard, gather regen globes, increase your mana regeneration, but after you collect 15 globes, you also get 5% ability power. For the other ones, it's as you hit heroes with the ability, it kind of powers it up. One of the things to note with the Dragon Breath one is if you reach the goal, it also doubles your sight radius, which is pretty significant. At level 3, you can do Piercing Sands, so Sandblast will hit the first 2 heroes in its path. You can increase your basic attack, range, and damage by a pretty significant amount. So it increases your basic attack range by 35%, and then when you use Sandblast, it increases the damage of your next basic attack by 250%. That is huge, let me tell you. But I'm kind of torn between that and Enveloping Assault, which increases the radius of Dragon's Breath by 25%. So if you pick that questing talent, that 25% increase in the radius is pretty significant for trapping heroes in Dragon's Breath to kind of do that. Mobius Loop, kind of a bread and butter for Dragon's Breath. It reduces its mana and cooldown, but also reduces its damage by 25%. So it really, between this and Dragon's Eye, which deals 25% more damage to enemies in the center, it really depends on if you want to go for like a sustaining Dragon's Breath build or if you just want more straight up damage. And then Chrono Sickness reduces Time Trap's cooldown, and after the stasis ends, the enemy is slowed for 3 seconds. There you have your heroic talents at level 9. It's level 12. Bye-bye! Reduces the cast time of your Hearthstone by 75%, and it's not interrupted by taking damage. I don't know how incredibly useful it's going to be. I love the flavor of it. I think the not interrupted by taking damage is a huge component, especially for maps where you're going back to the Hall of Storms quite a bit. I know I try and spend as little time in there as possible, so I make heavy use of the fountains. So I'm not sure I really get a whole lot of that. There's also Reaching Through Time, which increases Sandblast and Dragon Breath's range by 25%. That one I find to be incredibly useful, so it just gives you that much... it gives you a much greater ability to kind of snipe your enemies from far away, especially if they can't see where it's coming. So it really does allow you to use Dragon's Breath from a hidden position to kind of snipe your enemies, so that way, you know, they won't know until it's too late that you're around. And then Time Out, which is kind of Ice Block, but it lasts for 7 seconds. So, again, this is a fantastic tier. Level 15, this is kind of all about Sandblast. So, you can hit an enemy hero with Sandblast to increase your ability power by 10% for 10 seconds. Can be stacked up to 50%, and the duration is refreshed whenever you hit enemy heroes with Sandblast. Or Fast Forward, where if Sandblast travels at least 75% of its base distance and hits a hero, its cooldown is reduced to 1 second. So this is, if you're sitting in the back line and you're throwing Sandblasts from far away and you're hitting heroes, you can just keep firing them off over and over and over again. Quantum Overdrive, activate to increase your ability power by 25% for 10 seconds. Just straight up, just gaining ability power. I kind of like Shifting Sands, but I can absolutely see uses with Quantum Overdrive and Fast Forward. And then at level 19, Pocket of Time. So if you pick Slowing Sands, this reduces the mana cost and increases the slow from 50% to 70%. And then Loophole, Temporal Loop hits all enemy heroes near your initial target. So it's a mass recall. Anderhall Anomaly is you gain 3 charges of Time Trap, and you can have 3 active at once. And when your cooldown finishes, you gain all 3 charges at once back. So if you really like laying down the time traps to kind of have a more support role for your team, you can do that. However, for me personally, past and future me. So this is when you cast Sandblast, you leave an echo of yourself behind. The next time you cast Sandblast, the echo casts an untalented Sandblast that does 50% damage, and it kind of functions like Li Ming's Magic Missiles ability. So where you're focusing it, it will cause both of the Sandblasts to strike that point. So yeah, it's really cool. It has a great visual where it makes an echo out of like sand, and I love it. So I'm a big fan of Chromie. I'm gonna get her all the way up to Master Skin, because her Master Skin definitely got the gnomish pom-poms going. Fantastic. Little bronze dragon wings kind of accentuate the fact that she is a member of the Bronze Dragon Flight, with some really cool like Time Walker pauldron kind of things going on. So I'm really digging it. She's one of my favorites. I only have her up to level 2 because I only played 2 matches earlier today, but I'm a big fan. So here we go. And the queues haven't been too long. Again, I'm only doing versus AI, so, this way, I know quick match isn't exactly, like, try-hard mode, but especially, like, with a new hero, I'd rather not jump in there and kind of, like, screw up other people's playing experiences. So, and certainly not in Hero League. No, we're not doing any of that. I still have to play my qualifying matches. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them before the new season starts. So, there is that. Alright, so no tanks and no supports. That's pretty common for a random match. And Towers of Doom. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so we got a Vala, got a Kerrigan, an Asmodan, and a Nova. This is... This will be interesting. It's always interesting. 4 veterans and an adept. Is mine adept? No. We picked a veteran. So this should be interesting.
Get ready for combat,
all right.
heroes.
So
I see they are sending.
I think, especially with Towers of Doom being such a...
Well, that's not nice.
That's right. Having a brain fart. Just a map where you have a lot of team fighting happening at individual points. I'm going to go ahead and go with a
Talent.
5,
Dragon's Breath build.
4, 3, 2,
We'll take bottom
One.
lane.
Time in the world.
go. Destroy the Raven Lord's towers.
Taking bottom lane. Oh, can't see anything. Got my pop filter
I'm late.
in the way.
First blood.
Let's get moving. If it's any consolation,
All right.
you'll be alive again.
So we're going to throw one of these
soon.
time traps. As I can see, little hourglass. It is now active, and the enemy cannot see it. So what we're going to do,
Yes, that's
we're going to
right.
hide behind here. And it gives you a little bit of a sight radius. Boom. So yeah, took out the mage minion right off the bat.
I'm late.
So yeah, one of the things to keep in mind with Sandblast is it has an activation time. So you got to kind of plan a little bit on how it's going to go.
Yes, that's right.
The altars rise again, heroes.
Alright, so I think one of the things that we're
Yes,
going to do...
that's right.
I'm going to throw a time trap, like... Oh, and that's one of the things you got to watch out for is...
Finally, the altars are ready. Capture them, heroes, and be quick about it.
No! Oh.
Rise again, hero. Keeper after all. The Raven Lord will not keep me from this realm.
Nope. Not fast enough.
I know that's supposed to happen, but I still hate it.
Alright, on that note, we're going to go take top lane. Why they're taking pumpkins, I have no idea.
Let's get moving. Oh no, I'm late.
Defend what? We're gonna do Dragon's Breath as more
So
damage in
much
the center.
has to be done.
This,
Yes, that's right.
there we go. Boom.
Yay! I did it!
And Chromie's just, she's super adorable. I mean, what's not to love about gnomes,
Not
right?
long now, the altars are rising. Ready yourselves.
Let's
we must
hightail
claim them
it down
first.
down to the old bottom lane. No.
Yes, that's right.
Grab a drink at the fountain.
And so they return. Capture the altars quickly, heroes.
Alright, let's do everything we can.
I'm late.
Death? No. Not yet. We still have work to do.
All towers.
Fire.
Okay, Chromie. Let's not make that.
So I've been
mistake
seeing a lot of
next time.
Vala
Yes,
and
that's
Kerrigan
right.
today. I wonder if they're part of the free rotation.
Defend our fort.
You have been slain.
Oh, this is...
Nice.
So yeah. We don't have a very bulky comp. posing a bit of a problem.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, you got it.
So much left to be done.
Another altar, another battle. Double kill. The altars belong to those who claim them. That means you.
Take this hero down.
Meet your doom, Gravekeeper.
You will return shortly.
Let's see if you learn your lesson this time.
Yeah, we are not doing well.
Let the assault begin.
These guys are taking a lot of damage.
I know that's supposed to happen, but I still hate it. We have all the time in the world.
We need to gain a level advantage.
We have all the time in the world.
There we go.
Oh, we're almost to my favorite part. We have all the time in the world.
Yeah, double kill.
Kill confirmed.
Soon, the altars will be ours.
Haven't I done this before?
Grab a drink.
Haven't I done this before?
Capture the altars, and we shall deal the Raven Lord a grievous blow. Your enemies fall before you. Your enemies fall before you. Double kill.
Nice.
Our towers
There we
assail
go.
the Raven Lord. Killing spree.
We have all the time in the world. So much left to be done. Marvelous work, everyone! This way again? Or is this the first time?
The Raven Lord's heroes have taken a tower.
Do. All right.
The altars are rising.
That. Let's.
Well done. Another
Have I done this
tower
before?
obeys me.
All right, we got like 20 seconds. Let's grab a drinky drink. Go up here. See if we can take this leaning.
Of course.
Well done. The altars stand ready. Capture them before the Raven Lord's pawns do. The Raven Lord will fall. Enemy slain.
Of course.
So we got that.
Have you done this before?
Fire the towers. Destroy the Raven Lord.
So much left to be done.
Okay.
Be careful. We've lost a tower.
Oh, my heroes shall have this
That's right.
gift as well.
Oh man.
Of course.
Your enemy's keep falls.
So much left to be done. Let's get moving.
Yes, let the altars rise!
Sure, that's right. Have I done this before?
Keep destroy. You've lost a king, heroes. Your killing spree has ended. The Raven.
All right. So if we can get this, then that's game. Oh, that's game.
The Raven
There we
Lord
go.
will fall before me.
So yeah.
Well done. Well done indeed.
So yeah, kind of a little tricky to get the hang of. I'm sure, you know, with enough practice, it'll be a lot better. But, I mean, it's going to take a while. That is precisely why I would not want to take Chromie into Quick Match or Hero League right away, for me personally. Because, again, I don't want to have that kind of performance in Quick Match, and certainly not Hero League. But, you know, just playing around, having some fun. So, hopefully, she is up on the store right now for 15,000 gold or $10 standard new hero prices. So if you decide to pick up Chromie as well, hope you have a lot of fun. I know I certainly will. She's fantastic. She's adorable. She's a gnome. Well, you know, she kind of takes the form of gnome, but a gnome. So, super excited. Medivh comes out next month. We'll do another video for him. So, in addition to that, we may be putting up just some random video content. In addition to that, be sure to be on the lookout for episodes of the podcast. So if you didn't know, we're doing a weekly sort of geeky news podcast called the 8-Bit Adventures Podcast. You can find that on iTunes or Pocket Casts, as well as through Podbean. So if you have the Podbean app, you're able to find it through that. We also have links to the podcast on the website, 8bitadventures.com, where you can also find our webcomics and the story of Iggy, Melody, and Frogdor as they try and make their way into sort of the video game world as video game characters. So if you enjoy content like this, or the podcast, or the webcomics, or some random articles that I occasionally throw up there, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/8bitadventures and show us some love. With that, I think that pretty much covers it for today. So, hope to see you again in the Nexus, and enjoy all of your time traveling with the best hero ever, because she's a gnome, Chromie. So, with that, have fun, happy gaming, and good night, everyone.